Crypto was supposed to be the great financial revolution, the thing that shattered traditional banking and put power back into the hands of the people. Instead, half of Ethereum runs on Amazon servers. So what happened? Was the dream of decentralization always a scam, or is there still hope? Let's dive into the rise, fall, and possible redemption of crypto's decentralization dream. This is Patchnotes. Once upon a time, in the year 2008, an anonymous internet ghost named Satoshi Nakamoto released Bitcoin, and the world of finance would never be the same. Or at least that was the plan. Bitcoin's whole thing was decentralization. No banks, no middlemen, just a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Anyone with a laptop could participate. It was like an economic Wild West, except instead of horses, you had nerds mining blocks in their basements. Ethereum took that vision and said, okay, but what if we ran an entire global financial system on top of this? Smart contracts, decentralized apps, finance without banks, social networks without Mark Zuckerberg. It was the ultimate vision of power to the people. No middlemen, no permission needed. Just you, your keys, and the blockchain. But then reality happened. Turns out, decentralization is really hard. Like way harder than Bitcoin Redditors made it sound. First up, mining centralization. Bitcoin mining used to be something you could do on your laptop. Then people realized there was money to be made. And suddenly, mining rigs got bigger, faster, and way more expensive. Today, 2 mining pools control over half of Bitcoin's entire network. That's not decentralization. That's just 2 guys running a monopoly game and pretending it's open source. Ethereum? Same story. Before it moved to proof of stake, mining was controlled by massive farms. After the switch, now staking pools like Lido control 30% plus of all staked ETH. And if one entity controls 33%, they could theoretically shut things down. So much for decentralization. Then there's nodes, the backbone of any blockchain. In theory, anyone can run one. In reality, the majority of Ethereum runs on hosted Amazon Web Services. So if AWS goes down, suddenly the decentralized world computer starts looking like another SaaS app. Basically, we replace banks with tech oligarchs. And don't even get me started on centralized exchanges. Remember, the crypto motto is, not your keys, not your coins. So naturally, what did most people do? They gave their coins to exchanges like FTX, Binance, and Coinbase, letting them hold everything. It's like the revolutionaries of 1776 fighting against the British and then immediately re-electing a king. And stablecoins, supposed to be the backbone of DeFi, most of them are backed by dollars sitting in regular banks. It's like escaping the Titanic by boarding a slightly smaller Titanic. Now, before we throw all forms of centralization into the fire, let's consider why it exists in the first place. Not everyone wants to run a node, manage their own private keys, or deal with the headache of decentralized governance. Centralized services offer speed, reliability, and ease of use, things that, for many people, outweigh the benefit of decentralization. This is where hybrid models come into play. Systems that incorporate some centralization for performance while still maintaining decentralization where it counts. Enter the Keeta project. The Keeta network, or KeetaNet, is a project that blends decentralization with cloud-based infrastructure, a hybrid DAG/blockchain design, and designated proof of stake, or DPoS, consensus. Its goal? Achieve sky-high transaction speeds while keeping some level of decentralization. Hybrid DAG blockchain design. KeetaNet treats each account as its own mini blockchain, forming a directed acyclic graph, or DAG. Transactions don't need to wait for a global block lottery. They can be processed in parallel, allowing for millions of transactions per second. Instead of miners bundling transactions into blocks, users contribute directly to the DAG, which enhances efficiency and partial decentralization. Delegated proof of stake, DPoS. Users delegate voting power to representatives who validate transactions, similar to how EOS and Tron work. This allows for faster consensus, but decentralization depends on how widely voting power is distributed. Cloud-native infrastructure. Unlike traditional blockchains that rely on individual nodes, Keeta embraces cloud computing to handle its massive scalability. While this makes it blazing fast, it also means big tech holds some of the keys. Governance and compliance. Keeta includes KYC/AML compliance, permission governance, and regulatory frameworks. Features that make it attractive to institutions, but raise decentralization concerns. The takeaway? Keeta is fast, scalable, and enterprise-friendly. But its reliance on cloud providers and delegated staking raises decentralization trade-offs. It's an example of where crypto might be headed, a middle ground between decentralization ideals and real-world usability. So, is decentralization dead? Not quite. There's a new wave of decentralization rebels fighting to take crypto back. Think of them as the Rebel Alliance, pushing against the empire of centralization. Decentralized exchanges, or DEXs, are booming after FTX's collapse. People are realizing that maybe, just maybe, trusting billionaires with their money isn't a good idea. Uniswap, SushiSwap, and others let people trade directly from their wallets, with no central authority holding funds. Self-custody wallets are making a comeback. Ledger, Trezor, and hardware wallets are seeing a resurgence because people are finally understanding that financial sovereignty means not keeping your life savings on an exchange that might rug pull you. Decentralized staking is growing. Some projects are experimenting with making staking more distributed so that no single entity can dominate Ethereum. Node decentralization is another big one. New projects are incentivizing people to run their own nodes instead of relying on Amazon's data centers. There are even tools that let you run a node on a Raspberry Pi. So decentralization might be coming back, one overpriced hobbyist computer at a time. And governance? Developers are realizing that one token equals one vote just means rich people control everything. So now there's talk of quadratic voting, community councils, and other ways to stop governance from turning into a billionaire's club. So here's the big question: can crypto be decentralized and usable? Because let's be real, most people don't want to run nodes, manage keys, or vote on blockchain governance. They just want stuff to work. The challenge is making decentralization invisible, so that under the hood is decentralized. But for the average person, it feels as smooth as using Apple Pay. Some solutions are emerging. Layer 2 scaling, like Optimism and Arbitrum, keeps Ethereum decentralized while making transactions cheap and fast. Hybrid models are forming, where companies provide services but don't have absolute control over funds or governance. New security models could make self-custody easier, so people don't accidentally lose their life savings because they forgot one 24-word passphrase. The key is balance. If crypto leans too far towards decentralization, it becomes too complicated for normal users. If it centralizes too much, it's just another fintech startup with extra steps. So the final verdict? Is crypto a failed revolution? Crypto hasn't failed, but it did get sidetracked. It started as a movement, then turned into an industry. But the movement is still alive. People see the problems, and they're working on fixes. It turns out decentralization isn't a one-time achievement. It's a never-ending battle. We're still figuring out how to make decentralization work at scale without recreating the same centralized systems we tried to escape from. And in the meantime, let's enjoy the chaos. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and remember, not your keys, not your coins. See you next time.